before we start this chapter, student, you must be knowing about the concept of energy. What is energy? Basically, energy is the potential to do work or the capacity to perform any work. We cannot survive without energy. It is the essential part of our existence. So energy, some energy is present in different forms. So some forms of the energy are immediately useful to do work, while other requires a process of transformation. That is, energy is transformed or changed into some other form. Now, according to the law of conservation of energy, energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only be transferred or transformed or changed from one form to another form. Now, the question is, why do we need energy? What is the importance of energy? Energy is used to perform various activities, various internal as well as external activities. This energy is needed in every aspect of life. Energy is needed to support the external activities. We need energy for perform body's internal function, for metabolic activities. We need energy to build and maintain our cells and body tissues. You can see there is a lot of importance of energy. Let's start with the next topic, natural resources. So natural resources come from the earth, sun, atmosphere, and wood, oil, water, coal are the examples of natural resources. These natural resources, they are changed into some usable product that make our life more comfortable and convenient. There are different criteria for the classification of natural resources. Now here we'll discuss on the basis the classification of natural resources on the basis of the renewability. They are divided into renewable and non-renewable natural resources. Now let's take a look at the renewable natural resources. Renewable natural resources are also known as inexhaustible. They have the unlimited supply on this earth. They can regenerate by natural processes within a short span of time, or we can say within a considerable amount of time. They are replaceable sources. Solar, wind, water, forest, biomass and geothermal are some important examples. Renewable resources can be used uncountable number of numerous times, because they are inexhaustible. They have unlimited supply. Important point associated with renewable resources: they do not cause any pollution. They are eco-friendly. They may become harmful when they are misused by the human beings. So we can see renewable resources, they are unlimited, they are inexhaustible, they never tired, they can be regenerated, they can be replenished within a considerable amount of time. Now let's take a look at the non-renewable resources. Non-renewable resources are also known as exhaustible. Exhaustible means they have limited supply, they cannot regenerated, they cannot replenished by natural processes within a short span or considerable amount of time. Coal, oil, natural gas, nuclear and petrol are the examples of non-renewable resources. Why non-renewable resources are known as exhaustible? Because they have limited supply, because they are formed deep in the earth crust millions of years ago. Hence, once used, they disappear forever. Once they are totally exhausted by the human beings, we cannot regenerate, we cannot replenish non-renewable resources. And the thing associated with the non-renewable resources is that they are not eco-friendly. They can they cause pollution. They release carbon dioxide, since fossil fuels are the examples of non-renewable resources. So when they are burned, when fossil fuels are burned, they create pollution. Non-renewable as compared to the renewable resources, non-renewable resources are not eco-friendly. So there is a need to find alternatives. There is a need to use alternative sources or sustainable energy sources like solar, wind, water energy, hydro energy. Now next, just take a look at the importance of natural resources. How do humans depend on natural resources, or why are natural resources so important? The natural resources, they are the backbone of any country for the development, for enhancing the economy. And these natural resources, they generate electricity basically by the use of fossil fuel. And mineral resources, they are widely used in industrial development. All things require food. All living beings, they need food, air and land. Human beings they are using natural resources like anything for fulfilling their demand in terms of energy, for fulfilling their demand in terms of fuel. Human beings are totally dependent on natural resources, on basically on fossil fuel. The need of energy is important to human society. For agriculture, energy is also used in transportation, energy is used in garbage collection, information technology, human communication. These are the various areas where energy is used tremendously. Let's come to the choice of energy, and our choice, energy choice and decision also impact Earth's natural system. It is very essential, very important that we should choose our energy sources carefully. Now, how does energy uses affect the environment? We are not choosing our energy sources carefully. We are exploiting energy like anything. So what would be the impact on environment? Nowadays human beings are totally dependent on, mostly dependent on fossil fuels, coal, oil, natural gas, which you can also learn by learning CON. And these natural resources, if we talk about the non-renewable sources of energy, they can do more harm than renewable sources of energy in terms of air pollution, in terms of water pollution. Use of non-renewable source of energy can also threat wildlife, and it can also cause habitat loss. It can also damage public health. It is also responsible for global warming. We can see that there is a need to use the renewable sources of energy. There is a need to choose wisely the alternative sources of energy so that we can conserve energy for our future generation. So nuclear energy is the energy present in the core or nucleus of an atom. Since atoms are tiny particles and they have nucleus or core in between, in the center, and enormous energy is present in the bonds that hold the nucleus together, and this is called nuclear energy. And this nuclear energy is released when those bonds are broken, and which can be broken through nuclear fission, and this released energy can be used to produce electricity. Now let us see the mechanism of nuclear fission. Here uranium-238 or uranium-235 is used as a nuclear fuel. Now as you can see on your screen, there is a bombardment of neutron when neutrons they strike on the uranium-235, and this uranium-235 is split into two lighter elements along with the release of huge amount of energy in the form of heat and radiation. During nuclear fission, more and more neutrons are also released. They also they strike on the different uranium atoms present in the reaction. This reaction, nuclear fission, is also known as nuclear chain reaction. This reaction is controlled in nuclear power reactors to produce desired amount of heat. Further, this heat is converted into steam, then steam is utilized as electricity. Another reaction, the second reaction, is nuclear fusion reaction. Normally nuclear energy can also be released in nuclear fusion, where atoms are combined or fused together to form a larger atom. Fusion is the source of energy in the sun and stars. As you can see, a huge amount of energy is released during the fusion. Example is when two isotopes of hydrogen are fused together and they form helium. This is the source of energy in sun and stars. Developing technology to harness nuclear fusion as a source of energy for heat and electricity generation is the subject of ongoing research. We use nuclear fission for producing nuclear energy. Here you can see differences between nuclear fusion and nuclear fission. The basic difference between these two: in nuclear fission, heavy nucleus breaks up to form two lighter nuclei. On the other hand, nuclear fusion, two lighter nuclei combine to form heavy nucleus. Nuclear fission is a chain reaction, whereas nuclear fusion, chain reaction is not involved. As you can see, the third point, there is a heavy nucleus is bombarded with the neutrons. In nuclear fission, light nuclei are heated to an extremely high temperature. These are the differences between nuclear fusion and nuclear fission. Now let us take a look at the advantages of nuclear fission. Most important advantage that there is a low release of greenhouse gases. You must be knowing about the greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, methane, and there is no release of poisonous or toxic gases, and therefore no air pollution. Nuclear fission, there is a low requirement, that is low fuel offers more energy, low cost of generating electricity from nuclear fission is lower than the cost of generating electricity from fossil fuels. Continuous production of electrical energy in the case of nuclear energy, and this nuclear energy or the nuclear fission is good alternative to fossil fuel. Let us see the disadvantages associated with nuclear fission. Waste produced during the release of nuclear energy is radioactive, and safe disposal is very difficult and expensive. Nuclear plants have limited life. Since nuclear reactors, they have limited lifespan, the investment for the construction of nuclear plant is very high, thus it is costly. Irresponsible decisions and negligence may result in worse disasters. Common example is the nuclear bomb or other type of threats. Let us discuss the safety issues associated with nuclear energy. According to the International Atomic Energy Agency, nuclear safety is defined as the achievement of proper operating conditions, prevention of accidents, protection of workers, the public and environment protection from undue radiation risk. Now, considering all the aspects of safety and to improve performance, the nuclear power industry has improved the safety and performance of reactors. However, a perfect safety cannot be guaranteed, and the release of harmful radiations during the production of nuclear energy may cause deformities in body, as well as it may change genetic constitution. Let us discuss two nuclear disasters. First is Chernobyl, followed by Fukushima nuclear disaster. Chernobyl nuclear disaster occurred on 26 April 1986 in Ukraine, and it was the result of faulty nuclear design that was operated with inadequately trained person, or the team was not trained. The resulting steam explosion, after the explosion of a nuclear reactor, the resulting steam explosion and fires release at least 5% of the radioactive reactor core. It means that along with the steam and the fire, 5% radioactive substances, they are released and is scattered in the atmosphere and downwinds. The explosion and hot fires threw hot particles of radioactive isotopes like cesium, iodine and strontium and other radionuclides into the air. And the residents of the surrounding, the people living in the surrounding area, observed the radioactive cloud on the night of the explosion. This accident totally destroyed the unit number 4 of the Chernobyl reactor. The explosion and fire released large quantities of radioactive particles into the atmosphere, which spread over much of the western part of the USSR and Europe. Long-term effects such as cancer and deformities are still seen. Food and meat also were contaminated with the radioactive radiation. Next is Fukushima nuclear disaster. It was occurred on 11th March 2011 in the Pacific Ocean coast, that is in the southern part of the Japan. Major earthquake of magnitude, that is on the Richter scale, the intensity of the earthquake was 9, and then followed by 15 meters high tsunami disabled the power supply and cooling of 3 reactors, causing a nuclear accident. During this nuclear accident, that is earthquake followed by the tsunami, the piping facility and the power backup in the reactor were destroyed. There was leakage of radioactive material and steam was filled in the building, which caused dysfunction of the cooling system, and a lot of radioactive materials were scattered in the environment and caused great threat. So after the Fukushima disaster, lot of radioactive particles, they also scattered in the environment and they caused lot of destruction. Sustainable forms of energy, which are the form of renewable sources of energy. So renewable sources of energy are the energy which cannot be depleted, which can be used again and again, which can be regenerated again and again by the natural process, which cannot be expired, they are inexhaustible, they have unlimited supply. Sustainable Sustainable energy is a form of energy that meet our today's demand of energy without risking that our energy sources will run out in the future, because renewable sources of energy, they are unlimited and they can be used over and over again. Now we can achieve sustainable future by practicing these two steps: developing fuel efficient devices that consume less energy and using alternative sources of energy such as hydrogen and methanol. Now this sustainable energy consists of two concepts: energy conservation and energy efficiency. Both are different. They seem similar, but both are different. Energy conservation is our behavior and habits by which we can conserve, we can reduce the consumption of energy. There are many examples by which we can reduce the consumption of energy, like turn off fan when nobody is in the room, carpooling and not using vehicles for short distance, and driving less. These are the behaviors and habits which can help in reducing the energy consumption. Next is energy efficiency. Energy efficiency is related to the technology that requires less energy to perform the same function. That is, how can we reduce the consumption of energy? Energy efficiency includes use of solar charger in place of electrical charger, use of LED bulbs, buying more star rated appliances. More star rated appliances means the more efficient energy or the more energy reduction, more reduction in energy consumption. Now alternative energy sources besides conventional energy sources means non-renewable energy sources like coal, petroleum. We have a lot of non-conventional, that is renewable energy sources, which are inexhaustible, which cannot be depleted, which are less polluting. Some alternative sources of sustainable energy. In this section we'll cover solar energy, wind energy, hydroelectricity. The first and most common form of sustainable energy is solar energy. It is the energy which comes from sun, which is the ultimate source of energy on the earth, and it is a renewable form of energy, inexhaustible, and it has the greatest potential among all forms of renewable energy like wind energy, tidal energy, geothermal energy or hydroelectricity. So solar energy can be harnessed, can be utilized in two different ways. First by direct harness and second by indirect harness of solar energy. Let us discuss what is direct harness of solar energy. So in this process, solar energy is used directly to generate heat. Solar panels are used, photovoltaic cells are used, which used to convert solar energy into electricity. Indirect harness of energy, green plants, they trap solar energy and they manufacture their own food material during photosynthesis, and all living organisms are directly or indirectly dependent on green plants for their survival. Green plants are the sole source of food for all living organisms. Now you can see solar panel. It is a picture of solar panel followed by solar cooker. You can see the structure of solar cooker. It is widely used in villages as well as in cities also. Let us discuss the advantages of solar energy. Since it is a renewable form of energy, it is eco-friendly and it helps in conservation of non-renewable fossil fuels, non-polluting source of energy. Once the installation cost is met, the energy production is free of cost. For the first time, the installation cost of the total instrument is very costly, but after that the energy production is entirely free of cost. It reduces the electricity consumption cost of the household. By installing solar panels, by using photovoltaic cells, we can reduce our electricity bills, and it is more affordable than fossil fuel. So it has some disadvantages also. Initial cost of equipment, that is the setting up or the installation of total structure, is very high. Second is the shortage of space for installing large solar panel for electricity generation. We have to have a big space for the installation of solar panel, and it works well only when sun is shining, totally dependent on the solar energy. When there is a rainy day or when there is night, so we need to have the battery backup. Solar panels degrade with time, so they have their own time limit and they degrade with time. After solar energy, wind energy is also used in many states. It is the energy obtained from the wind and it can be converted into electrical energy using wind turbines or windmills. Wind farm. It is a group of wind turbines in the same location used for production of electricity. A large wind farm may consist of several hundreds individual wind turbines. Wind farm projects in India, in Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh and other states. You can see in the first picture, you can see the wind farms, and in second picture, just take a look at this where you can see the turbines. Now this is the turbine, the motor which used to convert the wind energy into electricity is turbine. Now coming to the advantages of wind energy, since it is a renewable form of energy, it consumes no fuel, emits no air pollution, eco-friendly source of energy, reduces the dependence on fossil fuel, that is saves fossil fuel. Some disadvantages are also associated, like wind farm, they need large area for installation. They may use valuable agricultural lands also. Wind energy depends on fast moving wind, hence cannot be set up at all places. Birds and bat mortality increase. You can see in this picture, the birds are flying. They can be injured by the moving propeller or the wings of windmill. Next type of sustainable energy is the hydroelectricity. It is produced from the running water, and when water is collected in a dam, water is allowed to fall on turbine. So turbine basically it is a motor which used to convert energy into electricity, and this turbine is connected to a generator which generates electricity. In Tehri Garhwal, Sardar Sarovar Dam, Bhakra Nangal Dam, these are the examples of hydroelectricity. You can see the picture of dam. Advantages of hydroelectricity, since it is a renewable source of energy, it's a clean source of energy, economical source of energy, and dams are also helpful in controlling floods. Dams can be used as amusement park. You can see this picture again. Disadvantages of hydroelectricity. First disadvantage or major disadvantage, the cost of construction is very high. Construction of dams can result in environmental problems like deforestation and submerging of villages. Dams also blocks migration route of fishes and other aquatic animals. So geothermal energy, it is an energy which is generated from heat in the earth core. Basically what happened, geothermal power plants, they use steam to produce electricity. The steam, and this steam comes from the reservoir of hot water found below the earth's surface. The steam rotates on a turbine which further activates a generator, and this generator produces electricity. Now this image, I'm just showing this image. You can see the harness of earth's surface, harness of steam from the earth's surface, and the second image, geothermal power plant. Coming to the advantages of geothermal energy, since it is a renewable source of energy, sustainable energy, so it is eco-friendly, and this geothermal energy is cost effective. Cost effective means the operating cost, that is, it requires minimal maintenance. If we compare this geothermal energy to conventional source of energy, that is the source of energy from fossil fuel, so this geothermal energy is very cost effective. Geothermal energy is reliable as it provides permanent power supply. Since it is a renewable source of energy, unlimited supply is there, so it is eco-friendly. It also reduces the dependence of fossil fuel. So these are the advantages. Coming to the disadvantages of geothermal energy, there is an abundance of greenhouse gases below the surface of the earth. Greenhouse gases which are present below earth's surface can potentially migrate to the surface and into the atmosphere during the process of installation of geothermal power plant. Geothermal power plants can be extreme. In extreme cases, then they cause earthquakes. Biomass is a renewable source of energy with unlimited supply, and there are various sources of biomass like animal waste, human waste, agricultural waste, horticultural waste. So there are raw material is easily available. So methanol, or it is also known as biomethanol or biomass derived methanol, and it is a biofuel, and methanol is currently made from natural gases but can be made from using wood or wood garbage. Now it is an alcohol based fuel. It is produced from agricultural and sewage waste. Ethanol is a mixture of gas from organic waste material, and it is converted to methanol at a high pressure catalytic synthesis process. Advantages of methanol: it has low emission of sulfur and nitrogen gases and other greenhouse gases. It is cost effective. Cost effective means production cost is very low since raw materials are easily available. It produces less pollution since it is a renewable source of energy, and it is a clean source of energy, so it produces less pollution. It also reduces dependence on fossil fuels since it is a sustainable form of energy, or we can say it is a alternative form of energy. Next is ethanol, which is a biomass energy, and it is also a clean source of energy since it is a renewable form of energy, sustainable form of energy, and it is a clear colorless liquid with a peculiar smell. It has a very different type of smell. It is made of sugar and grapes by fermentation, and it's a very good fuel with less emission of sulfur and nitrogen oxides as well as greenhouse gases. It can be used in vehicles along with petrol. So ethanol is used in a blended form along with petrol. Coming to the advantages: since it is a renewable form of energy, it does not produce much pollution, and it also reduces the dependence on fossil fuels since it is an alternative source of energy, and ethanol can be used in both heavy as well as light vehicles. So what do we mean by low emission? Low emission means the low emission of carbon dioxide and other particulate matter as along with greenhouse gases. Now next form of biomass energy is gasohol after methanol and ethanol. So gasohol is it is the alternative fuel, and it is a mixture of 90% gasoline, that is the petrol, and 10% of anhydrous ethanol. Anhydrous ethanol means the pure form of ethanol. The purity is 99%. Gasohol can be used in heavy as well as light duty vehicles. Heavy and light means it can be used in small cars as well as big trucks. The ethanol typically used in gasohol production is derived from fermenting agricultural product. As you can see in this image, there is a part of 9 part of gasoline or 90% of gasoline and 1 part of ethanol, that is anhydrous ethanol or the 10% of ethanol. Altogether they make a gasohol. So this ethanol used in gasohol derived from the fermented corn crops or other agricultural products. Advantages: it is a cheap source of energy, alternative energy. It is of low emission fuel. Low emission means it used to it reduce the emission of greenhouse gases and other oxides of hydrogen and sulfur, and it also gives high performance. High performance means the greater mileage. Next is CNG. Full form is compressed natural gas. This CNG is composed of methane, and this methane is stored at high pressure, and it is also stored and distributed in cylinders. Like petrol and diesel, this methane is also a fossil fuel, but it burns much cleaner, so it is a clean source of energy. Since it is a clean source of energy, so it also reduces the emission. It can be used as a fuel in place of gasoline, that is petrol, diesel or LPG, and it can be used in vehicles as it reduces the emission of carbon dioxide, hydrocarbons and other greenhouse gases. And this methane is stored at high pressure. As far as advantages are concerned, concerned, CNG is a good source of alternate energy because it is less expensive than gasoline, that is petrol or diesel. It is more efficient. CNG is more efficient because it is a clean source of energy and it is less polluting. It burns completely. These are the advantages of CNG. Now coming to the disadvantages, since it is a non-renewable source of energy, so its supply is limited, and CNG gives less mileage. Less mileage means the less performance, or speed is very slow. The vehicles need engine modification. CNG vehicles, they need engine modification, which turn out to be a costly matter. CNG engine cost around 20 to 30,000, and it needs more space for accommodating cylinders. Like all the boot space, or we can say the storage area, is occupied by the CNG cylinders. Probability of accidents related to catching fire is very high because CNG is composed of methane, and this methane is lighter than air. Its diffusion is very rapid. So in case of accident, it is very much prone to catching fire if there is a leakage in the CNG cylinder. Let's take a look at the picture. This is a picture of CNG fitted vehicle, four-wheeler. And the next disadvantage is CNG is not easily available in all cities, and because filling stations, they have limited availability. Hydrogen is also considered as a future fuel because it produces clean energy similar to electricity, and it is also considered as a energy carrier. Hydrogen can be produced from various domestic sources such as renewable energy and nuclear energy. And in the long term, hydrogen will simultaneously reduce the dependence on foreign fuel and the emission of greenhouse gases and other pollutants. Hydrogen is also considered as an energy carrier. Energy carriers are used to move, store and deliver energy in a form that can be easily used. Electricity is the most well-known example of an energy carrier. Coming to the advantages of hydrogen, since it is a clean source of energy, it is a sustainable source of energy, so it is environment friendly as it does not produce harmful emissions. Hydrogen is more efficient as it produces more energy. Hydrogen can be produced domestically from several sources like renewable energy sources and nuclear energy sources. Hydrogen is readily available as it is a basic earth element and it's very abundant. Since hydrogen does not exist on earth as a gas, it must be separated from other compounds. So as far as advantages are concerned, so hydrogen is considered as a future fuel because currently hydrogen is mainly used as a fuel in the NASA space program. Liquid hydrogen is used to propel space shuttle and other rockets. Coming to the disadvantages of hydrogen, the vehicles which use hydrogen as a fuel are very expensive because hydrogen itself, the gas, is very expensive. Hydrogen is difficult to store. It is highly flammable. It is difficult to store as far as if we compare with fossil fuel. It is highly flammable. It can catch fire easily. Hydrogen fueling stations are available only at limited location. Only handfuls of stations are available. At the end of this chapter, that is energy conservation. Now let us discuss some energy saving tips while cooking. So these are the common practices you must be knowing about, but let us discuss. First is the use of pressure cooker. Keep the vessels covered while cooking. Use flat and wide bottom vessel for cooking. Turn off the gas when not in use. Turn off the gas for few minutes when the cooking is finished. Do not overcook or add too much water to the food. Use solar cooker as far as possible. So by practicing all these tips, we can consume, we can conserve, we can save maximum energy. Now some energy saving tips for transport: walk or use cycle for short distances. Get the vehicle serviced regularly. Maximum use of public transport. We should follow the traffic rules. Coming to the energy saving tips for domestic conservation, that is at home, these are the common practices. Switch off the lights and fans when not in use. Do not leave computer or television on standby mode. Use energy efficient lights, fans which consumes less electricity, and we should not waste electricity in unproductive work. Now here is some diagrammatically representation how we save electricity, how we conserve electricity. So these are the methods. 15 methods are there. I think the pictorial method is best way to memorize the things, to understand the things.